Well, the figures are pretty clear. Nearly half of British people own a pet of some description. But obviously caring for them and looking after their health is just getting incredibly expensive. And it's not just that. It's not just that vet costs are really increasing over the last few years. But as they increase, they're kind of splitting apart. They're varying massively depending on which vet you go to and where you live and where you take your pet.
Well, some exclusive research by Good Morning Britain has revealed the differences between vet practices across the country. Now, if you're a dog owner in Sheffield booking an annual booster, you could spend £36 or 3 times that amount, up to 108.
We did a bit of digging around in Manchester and we discovered that if you live there and you have to get your cat neutered, pretty straightforward op, it could cost you between £110 and nearly £300.
And Bristol, cat and dog owners, for them, a routine annual health check could set them back between £15 and almost 5 times that much, up to £71. Well, after her own experience of high vet bills, Lindsay Taylor started a petition calling for greater transparency and regulation of costs, delivering it to number 10 earlier this year. And she joins us now with her pug, Roxy, who you may have heard when our cameras came a bit near. Roxy, don't worry, Roxy, they won't do you any harm. Your mum's safe. And also alongside we have Fabian Rivers, who's a vet as well. Good to speak to you. So,
morning, both. Morning, all three of you.
Morning, all three of you. What was your experience then?
So, I had a situation where we had some dental treatment done with Roxy.
Right.
It was suggested that there were 2 procedures. And it was going to come to about £1,000.
£1,000?
So, so I kind of sort of thought, this doesn't seem right at all. You know, it's wrong. We need to standardise vet fees and try and work out what service we're getting.
So did you go elsewhere and find you could get it cheaper?
Yeah, so what I did was I had a situation where I just thought, right, I'm going to do a bit of research and do a little mini survey in the area. And I approached 8 vet surgeries. I rang them up. And out of that, there was about 40 to 65 pounds. It was like a £25 difference just for a consultation.
Gosh.
So you kind of start to think, you know, what am I paying for? What's the service? And
did the vet who was asking for £1,000 for these procedures, did they explain why it was so expensive?
They did. They explained everything to me, but it was a little unclear, really, as to the reasoning behind such an expensive amount.
I mean, luckily for you, you were insured, and that took care of a big chunk of the bill, didn't it?
It did, yes.
But it's still a huge discrepancy. Fabian, why would this be the case?
So the most important thing here is there's so much context about why things cost more in different places. And so that's the reason why consult beforehand is really important. What is included in these prices? So whilst £1,000 is a huge amount of money, like we can all attest to that, are there fluids? Are there bloods? Is your dog's breed important part of the procedure? And what do we anticipate? You know, what we see in a consult and what we prepare for, say, for neutering, it may be a slightly more difficult or complicated procedure when we actually go to that intervention.
Yeah, but what explains the differential? What explains one vet charging, say, £400 for a procedure and the one around the corner down the road charging £150?
Well, the context is who's doing the procedure and what's involved in that particular work. There are certain elements. I mean, most vets that you come into contact with aren't in control of the prices effectively.
Why?
Because we are essentially the front-facing people. So whether it's part of a business or if you're part of a corporate chain, they have their own prices.
But so they might set it at a certain
of course. And also veterinary medicine has improved drastically in the last 10 to 15 years. So the type of care that we gave 10, 15, 20 years ago and what's expected of us now has changed a huge amount. And there's a huge amount of pressure on us to be able to facilitate that better care.
You're being very reasonable, and I'm sure that a lot of what you say is true, but isn't it, it must be the case, looking at these differentials that we've discovered all over the country, there just must be some vets who are rip-off merchants.
I think that particular angle is something that, as vets individually, we are some of the most compassionate people. I mean, return on investment in veterinary medicine is the lowest out of all degrees because the amount of work we put into it, the amount of work that we do after, we are not in this particular field.
So you don't think that some of these geezers are just trying it on?
I think, personally, the Competition and Markets Authority are doing an investigation to give more transparency. You will not find a veterinary professional who doesn't agree with that transparency. And you know what? We're on the same side. Transparency is something we all want from this.
Well, do you think we should standardise these?
So if somebody was charging significantly more and you couldn't prove, is it basically marketplace? In the same way as some people might pay £500 for a jumper and other people would pay, you know, £80 for a jumper, and there might be a difference in quality. I paid £2 for a jumper, but, you know, there might be a difference in quality, but there also might not. It's just what people are prepared to pay and reputation.
I think there's so many parts. I mean, with regards to our clinical care, we are essentially regulated. But with regards to the actual market, it's private. And so prices vary because of the types of things that you're getting, the reputation. There's so many parts.
Right. Lindsay, you
would...
did this petition. Sorry, what are you calling for with your petition then?
So, yeah, I think we want to try and standardise the fees so that we can make sure that the viewers and everybody at home are paying for the service that they expect that they're going to get. I obviously came home that night from the vets with this big bill and sort of went to my husband, you know, we need to do something about this. I need to try and make a change, make a difference to sort of help others. So I did the change.org, not very social media, not very social media savvy. So we went on the change.org and within 5 days it went viral. I had a phone call from change.org saying it'd gone viral, which I didn't know what that meant, which was quite funny. But
well, it obviously touched a lot of people.
Yeah, it did. It really resonated with a lot of people.
Can I just ask a quick question? In the interim, if you say I take my dog to the vet and he quotes me £500 procedure, and the one around the corner quotes me £250, but I prefer the first guy, I like the cut of his jib a bit more, should I go back to him and say, he's offered me £250 for this, can you cut your price? Is it worth haggling?
I think the idea of haggling suggests that we don't set prices. I think what's worthwhile is having a good communication about what's involved in that particular price and comparing it, but also having a really good, open, transparent communication with your vet that you trust is an important part of the process so you can see value. And we as vets can do a much better job of that.
Thank you, Beth. Gone to sleep?
Yeah.
Oh, it's very calm now. Yeah, we'll keep our voices down. We don't want to disturb her. Thank you, both of you. Sounds like a lot of people will be glad if you can get some results on that.